If we haven't met yet, my name is Sarah and I'm the mom next door. Today we're going to talk about tips for taking kids on road trips. Our kids are currently 8 and 12 years old, but we've taken them on road trips since they were babies, and every year we just get better and better. My favorite thing about prepping for car trips is these little bags that I put together. So every time we go, I put together a little gallon Ziploc bag like this with stuff for the kids, and they really love it. They look forward to it each time. I put it together. They don't get to see it until we're getting in the car and leaving. So it's always something that they really look forward to and kind of anticipate each time we go on a trip. I put it all in a Ziploc at first just to limit the amount of stuff they would have in the car. I like to put both of their Ziplocs. We've got 2 kids, so both Ziplocs go in one of those fabric square bins, kind of like the ones behind me. And then they both get water bottles and a couple snacks. And that's all the stuff that we have out and about in the car. So it keeps it really clean. I found out that these Ziplocs are great because if somebody does get car sick, you can just dump the whole thing out and get sick in the bag if you need to. Best case, you can pull over and make it somewhere safe on the side of the road. Worst case, you have that as a backup plan. Another thing I do is I do include a garbage bag in the back for the kids. So as they're eating snacks or doing things, we can keep the car pretty tidy. So let's talk about what we put in this bag. I used to pack coloring books for the kids, but they don't color through a whole book every time we go. And it was kind of hard and awkward. So what I do now is I do little clipboards, and sometimes I'll rip out pages, just a couple from a coloring book. I always put some blank white paper in there. And then a fun tradition we have is I'll just hand draw out a map of our trip and where we're going. The kids will actually color it in. Sometimes they'll make notes about the times or the dates when we hit different destinations or the things that they saw. So it can kind of be a little fun activity and a journal type keepsake from the trip. I like to buy 1 or 2 little toys or gifts that are new for the kids too. So this year they each got a Rubik's Cube to go with them in the car. And then we got these little connection cards, which were really fun on the trip. It's a deck of cards, and each card has questions on them that just start a conversation. So it says things like, what's the worst smell you've ever smelled? Some of them are really silly. What do you think your greatest talent is? What about your mom and dad? You can ask me any question. What do you want to ask me? So there's lots of fun questions on these cards. Throughout the trip, we would pull out cards and ask the question, and everybody got a turn answering. And it was really fun conversation, and we all learned a few things about each other too. So that was one of the things I got this year. Of course, crayons or markers to go with their activity books. I always give them gum and sometimes mints too, just to help with their stomach and kind of keep them busy. And again, other little activities, things like sticker books, mazes or crossword puzzles, anything like that, just to keep them busy throughout the car ride. And just for fun, I'll throw in stuff like chapstick or lotion or just little things that make them feel fresh and comfortable. Of course, with COVID going on, we had extra masks, we had hand sanitizer, hand wipes, stuff like that in the car for them. One game that my husband and I made up on our last road trip, which was really fun, and it took us like the whole trip to get through, was a modified version of the ABC game. So we started with A and we worked our way to Z. We had to find a vehicle that started with that letter. So for example, A was Audi, so we would look for an Audi vehicle on the road. Then we moved on to B. So you could look for any vehicle that started with a B, maybe a Bronco or a Buick. Then you get to C, and you keep going. We found that there is a vehicle out there for every letter in the alphabet, and it was a really fun way to keep our minds and our eyes busy as we were on the road. Our kids like to bring their iPads with them. We usually do download a movie onto the iPad so that it's ready to go regardless of what kind of service we have. But I will say we use electronics as a last resort in the car. We don't let our kids just go on and play on their electronic for a whole 12 or 13 hour car ride. So The last trip we went on, we actually made it the whole 13 hours to our destination without the kids being on electronics at all. And on the way home, they did eventually get to watch a movie, but we do try and minimize it. Part of the reason is that it can make car sickness worse. So in addition to other reasons why you might want to limit electronic time for your kids, when kids use electronics in the car, they might be more likely to get car sick. My next tip is to be prepared for car sickness. The first road trip we went on, I was not prepared for anyone to get car sick, and I was actually the one that ended up getting car sickness that time. And nearly every time after that, I've struggled with it, but I really have a great system down. My husband and I made a whole video about car sickness. I'll put a link up above. But I'll give you a couple tips, especially for kids. These ginger chews are one of the best things that I've discovered for car sickness. Just chew on them. You can eat them constantly if you really need to, but the kids and I and my husband, we all eat these and they help a ton. Peppermint is great for car sickness, so peppermint gum, peppermint mints, Altoids. I always bring Altoids. If you're into essential oils, you can make your own little roller or buy a roller and put lavender and peppermint in there, and you can roll it on your wrist and smell it, or you can roll it right on your stomach if you're feeling car sick, and that's safe for kids too. And then kids Dramamine. They have kids Dramamine, they're chewables. I actually like kids Dramamine better myself too. It's made with the same active ingredients as the adult one, but it's a half dose. So I just take one of the kids Dramamine. It's enough to help me not get car sick, but it's not so much that it makes me drowsy like the adult one does. And if by chance I take one and it's not enough and I need more, I can take one more kids Dramamine. It's the same as taking an adult dose. These, I've had a hard time finding these in pharmacies. You're supposed to be able to find them in the pharmacy or Safeway or Target, but I've only been able to find them lately on Amazon, so I'll put a link below. We do usually stop to eat at least one time. It really breaks up the trip. We don't make a lot of stops other than that on our road trip, unless it's just a quick stop for gas or to go potty or something like that. But we just try and get to our destination. That's what works for us. Do what works for you. Some people love to stop and explore all the different towns and sites to see along the way. Because we don't stop a ton, another thing I like doing is I use the little bento boxes that we use to make the kids' lunches, and I pack a bunch of food in there. So along with their little activity bags and everything else that goes in that box between them, I'll put a little lunch box or bento box for each of them. And it really depends on the time of day. So if we're leaving really early in the morning or in the middle of the night, then I'll put breakfast things in there. Maybe some fruit, some banana bread, some dry Cheerios or cereal, apple slices, peanut butter, stuff like that. If we're getting up and leaving in the morning after eating breakfast and they just need daytime snacks, then I might make a sandwich for them, chips, crackers, trail mix, anything that they can just quickly eat. I always bring with me a box of ginger snap cookies. In addition to all my other tricks that I have for car sickness, I love my ginger snap cookies. And I always bring beef jerky. It's a great high protein snack. And I found even if I don't feel that great, I can still eat some beef jerky if I need some. We also usually bring protein drinks, both adult protein drinks and kids ones, and everybody gets their own water bottle. If you're gonna be driving through the evening, dinner time and beyond, then you might do something like a fun evening snack. You could put some popcorn or some licorice, some kind of movie themed snacks in the little lunch box, and they could do a movie at night before they go to sleep. If we are driving from dinner time and then through the night, I will take their toothbrush and everything they need to get ready for bed, and I'll put it in their ziplock bag. That way it's super easy to find. They have a water bottle, so even if we're on the side of the road and we need to brush and floss real quick, we can do that on the go. My last tip is to set an intention. Really think about what kind of road trip experience and family experience do you want to have? What kind of memories do you want to create? And use that to anchor yourself. I feel like setting an intention is a really powerful way to set yourself up for a road trip. It can really help you in those moments when you're frustrated or things aren't going your way or you're just irritable because you've been in the car so long. So I would love to know, what are your best road trip tips, especially if you're driving with kiddos? What games do you love to play? Post in the comments below so that we can all learn from each other. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I wish you happy and safe travels. For more videos on how to live life better, please subscribe.